And so this week, I noticed that in the Bible, like I love the Proverbs. Is anyone here familiar with the Proverbs? There's 31 Proverbs in the Bible. And it has nothing to do with religion, it just has everything to do with character. That's where I learned how to be a woman, right? It says a virtuous woman does this, a virtuous woman does that, and everything. So the 22nd proverb is a lot about wisdom and how we should behave, like all the other proverbs. So I'm just going to start out, and it says, above all else. Now this is not part of Proverbs 22. This is just a side piece I wanted to share. So above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Guard your heart. Your heart is like your mind. And that's exactly what I was just speaking about a minute.
Everything will flow from it.
That's right. So you have to guard your heart, especially when you're getting into a new relationship. A lot of people just throw themselves at it. A brand new job even. People just throw themselves in it. And it's healthy to do that. It's healthy to start doing that a little bit. What?
That's my mom.
Oh.
How could I be throwing myself in anything? I've been in the same awful relationship for 7 years.
No, me. You have already done that. You've already done that.
Sure.
What? Already done what?
With Lloyd for
Throw
7
it on
years.
your heart.
Yes. You've done it. So now,
I have to guard it.
right, so
do that
now what you have to do is guard your heart. You get to a position, even if it's a new
You
job.
guard your heart first and then give it out or whatever.
Yes. So
Instead of just throwing it out.
Yes. So what you do is you guard your heart. So you get into a new relationship and you analyze the person. You wait for everything to unfold. You look at what they speak about. When I used to date, I used to always say 3 things to the guy. I would ask him what his relationship is with God, or what kind of thing he has with God. He didn't have to be religious, but if he had some kind of understanding of a higher power, meaning even his mind, taking care of his mind. What his relationship was like with his mom, and what his relationship was like with his job. If he was always complaining about his job, and at least 2 out of the 3 had to be good, right? So if he was always complaining about his job and saying, oh, this job is no good, it sucks, and my boss is blah, 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 I would need him to be the type of man to say, you know what, this job is all right, it's not my best, but I am trying to look for a better job right now. Don't complain about the job constantly. Don't complain about the work you got to do. Understand that you don't like it, so it's only something for now, and you'll get to the best later, as long as you consciously get forward. Or the other thing, if he said his mom, put his mom down and called his mom a dirty name, or that me? Well, let me tell you about her. I'd be like, oh, that's what he talks about his mom, that's what he's going to talk about me. He doesn't have to have this special relationship with his mom. They don't have to be best friends. They don't have to go out shopping and him take her everywhere. That doesn't need to be on the ball, but at least learn how to tame your tongue and not talk bad about your mom. And then the third thing was with God, have some kind of a belief system. It doesn't matter if it's a native Indian belief, it doesn't matter if it's, Buddhism, just at least have some kind of peace inside that you believe in. Even if it's just waking up every morning with your coffee and your newspaper, and you just relax at that moment. I at least need that. So that's what I would do when I used to date, right? Just 3 kinds of things, and that's what I would watch before I flowed my heart out to this person. Even I didn't care if he had millions in his bank account and the best car, and those 3 things before I flew my heart out. And so that's how we have to, when we first meet someone, we have to actually sit back and say, what are they about? Have questions in your heart that you will stand for, and if he doesn't match up to any of them, or she doesn't match up to any of them or anything, sacrifice the person and move on. So that's just when it comes to dating. When it comes to a job, same thing. Don't throw your heart into something that is not fruitful for you. If it is stressing you mentally, emotionally, and physically, then most likely it's time to find something else, right? But if it is, lucrative and is providing something, so always remember, do not throw your heart into something that is not good. Okay, Proverbs 22. A good name is more desirable than great riches. Who agrees with that?
Wait, can you repeat that?
So, a good name is more desirable than riches. People, they desire the best car. They want the best home. Yes, materialistic, right? So if someone is materialistic, what's that going to get them at the end of the day when material is gone? Exactly. The money's gone, the material's gone. But yet they did everything in life to get that material stuff, and then their name is ruined.
A good name, you mean reputation.
You got it. So at the end of the day, let's say they lose everything. But while they were gaining everything, their name got destroyed, tarnished. When they lose everything, how are they going to get it back if they don't have a good name? The good name will always be there no matter what, because it dictates your character. It says who you are. You can be trusted. You can be relied upon. And when you have a bad name, it usually means you're a thief, a liar. There's no honor when someone is in your presence, kind of thing, right? So that's exactly why. In Proverbs 22, it says straight out, a good name is more desirable than great riches. The next one says, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple-minded keep going and pay the penalty. I had this friend that I grew up with in Regent Park, and oh my gosh, he was such a good guy, but he hung around a real bad group of guys. And one time they caught him, and they were all doing a B&E. Back in my day, it was called a B&E, break-in and entry, right? Still called that these days. So they did a B&E, and he got caught. And he went to jail, and the cops said to him, like, what are you doing with these guys? How in the world are you running with these guys? And he was like, I don't know. And when I spoke to him afterwards, he went to jail. They put him in jail because your friends are who you are, and he was an accomplice. He did help them. And when I spoke to him, I was like, why would you do that? And he said he saw it from the beginning, and his intuition was telling him to stop. His intuition was telling him to not go forward, and yet he didn't listen. Simple-minded. Simple-minded, right? He didn't go forward. If he didn't go forward, he would have been safe. But it says the prudent see danger and take refuge. That means the smart, they see the danger, they listen to their heart, and they go and they move from that crowd, no matter what it takes. Asia, you're so young right now, and so pretty, right? And now, if any of your friends say to you, "Oh, let's go do this, Asia. Let's go chill and hang out, and let's go do this. Let's go smoke a cigarette," or something like that.
I think Mom's going to be watching her.
Yeah.
Now, should be able
Trust
to
me.
go outside, never mind.
Mom
Now-
will take care of her.
If you go and you smoke that cigarette, what do you think's going to happen, aside from getting in trouble?
I don't know.
Oh, that's actually good, because maybe she's never smoked before, otherwise she would know. No. Well, the biggest thing, most likely, is cancer, right? Because the wise would say, that cigarette's going to cause cancer. Does anyone here smoke, by the way?
I smoked for 35 years.
And you quit?
I quit.
You don't
In
even look
2000.
like you could smoke a cigarette for 35 years.
I was a chain smoker. No,
Really?
you know what the biggest thing is? If she smoked a cigarette, she'd be crossing a line. And once you cross that line, it's easier to cross it every other time. You'd be doing something you're not supposed to do, and then anything else that you're not supposed to do would be easier in the future. You'd be
And that-
taking a
That
step.
is so.
And that is, and it gets easier and easier, because you're like, well, I did that. It's almost like when anything we do, for me, it's chocolate.
Oh.
So if I'm refraining from chocolate and I'm not
Yeah, that
eating
is-
chocolate, I'm good. But as soon as I eat one piece, that whole chocolate bar is going to be gone. I'll be like, oh, I already ate one piece. Tomorrow's a new day. Let me just eat that chocolate bar. And I don't eat the small chocolate bars.
And then tomorrow you
I eat
buy a
the big
bigger
ones.
one.
That's right. And I don't know how I'm going to get any bigger than what I got now, but I'll buy 2 big ones. So, whoever sows injustice reaps calamity, and the rod they wield in fury will be broken. So whoever does injustice, they will not be able to have that rod. Let's say they try to do something bad to someone else, everything they try to do will be broken. That's the karma. Nothing, they will not be able to get anywhere at all. Another one is, the generous will themselves be blessed, for they share their food with the poor. I have a friend that thinks they give way too much, and they feel foolish for the things that they give away. And they're always saying, oh, I shouldn't have gave that away, but I know the person needed it. Well, if you know the person needed it, it's okay to give it. You will be blessed tenfold. There's some times where I will go and give tithes and offering not necessarily, this is going to sound greedy, but I don't mean it to come off this way, but just so I can get good karma back, because a lot of the time I'm at home doing work on the computer and I'm not around people often, only on Saturdays, so I'm not able to give a lot to people. So when I am out, sometimes I will deliberately reach in my pocket and give to someone, because I know that I have to put a little out to be able to get a little, to renew my karma. There's a guy that, actually, he's one of the guys that sit out in front of the Tim Hortons by my building. And he likes to have his cigarette and his smoke, and his coffee by Tim Hortons. And so one day I saw him down the street from Tim Hortons. And I said, buddy, because I wanted to renew my karma. So I said to him, buddy, you need any change? And he was like, no, I'm okay. And he was on a mission to Tim Hortons to get his coffee, right? And so I was like, oh. And in my head, God said, he was very honest. He has enough to buy his coffee. And he's not worried about anything else because he's content. But he needs to be rewarded for his honesty. Because he could have said, oh, yeah, sure. Because he could have taken advantage of my kindness. So God said, still give him that change that was owed to him. And I was like, okay. So I got to I walked my dog and I said, okay, God, if he's there when I get there, I'm going to give it to him. I got up to Tim Hortons and he was standing outside the Tim Hortons with his cigarette and his coffee and he was twiddling his toes and all happy and everything, and blowing out the smoke, and that's all he wanted was a cigarette and a coffee. And I was like, I went up to him and I said, buddy, you know what? Seriously, I have to give you this change because you should be rewarded for your honesty. And he looked at me like, wow, now he's my best friend. Right? Not only did I get karma for that, but I also gained respect from someone on the street who knows that I'm there for him. And even today on my way to the streetcar stop, there was a guy. And he said, he looked at me and he said, look, he thought he would have more money today. He's like, I thought I'd make more money by now, and it's a slow day. Do you have any change? And this guy is usually out of it, to the point where I go by halfway sleeping with his hand out like that. Today he was up walking, and I gave to him. So, and I do this so I can renew my karma. So in your house, when people are eating your food, just make sure that you say to God, that is gone, replenish it please, Father. God, whatever you call God, replenish it please, dear Lord, because that I know you put there for that person, right? And if you get any notes or anything, it's not out of hate, it's just that person really wanted what they were going to go to the fridge for and it was gone, right? So you probably are very giving, I know, because your children are very happy.
You got that American Apparel dress yesterday.
And you had those heels, and are those Uggs?
But I paid for half of them.
That's okay, Uggs are expensive.
Telling me.
Well, these are kids' bugs, so they're cheaper, and we got a discount for my friends.
Uggs are still expensive.
She just doesn't want to say that I'm paid for the other half. I don't
You
know
should
what
go
the
to
deal is.
Ardeen where you can get 3 pair for $10 and they look like Uggs.
You don't understand.
I'll tell you
She does
something.
not do that.
I'll tell you
I know.
something.
My son's the same. He'll steal it, but he wears labels only.
You working for your mom?
That's how she earned the money for the dress.
And
So
my dad
she
gives
cut.
me money for
Well,
seeing him.
for the dress, she owes me next week because she's busy this weekend. Next weekend she owes me. And
Really?
Yeah, you have to teach them they have to work for their money. I'm not gonna hand it out for free. No one's giving me nothing for free. People are ripping me up left, right, and center. I know it's me complaining again.
Just stating a fact, not a complaint. Just stating facts.
You know what? My daughter's been working for me since she was 13.
I remember that answering the phones,
Yeah.
and she was so cute.
Yeah. She was like, Siri said, Mama, how may I help you? Till this day, she's always starting businesses. Till this day, she calls me up and she says, Mom, I got a good business promo for you. And she'll call me up and everything. And yeah, the other day I started Chez Cerise, a clothing business. My daughter called me up and she said, yeah, so I got some really good promos for you. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, I'm going to wait till my that business starts making me money before I throw money into it. She said, oh, well, you're just not doing enough. Scorpios.
How old is she?
23.
Oh, wow.
She sliced into me and I said to her, I'm not doing enough. Excuse me? I'm on eBay. I'm on Kijiji, Craigslist. I also got PayPal, which I said I was never going to do. I got the domain name. I created the blog. I took pictures after everything. She said, you got to be making videos. You need a logo. And she went off and I was like, you know what? I have to end this conversation now because I'm about to say something. She was like, and then her phone disconnected.
Oh,
Right, which she didn't hang up, but her phone does overheat. And I was like, thank you, God. And then, but I got off the phone with her, and do you know what kept resonating in my mind? You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. And I was like, God, she's mean. But let me tell you how I got up on YouTube in the last 2 days. I have 2 videos of my outfits that I wore in the last 2 days. I have a logo that I created. I learned how to do a favicon. And I'm doing what she said, and I'm so happy, and I feel so blessed to have her in my life to be able to call me up and say, Mom, I love you, but you're not doing it. So you got to start doing it, right? So that's what happens when you have your children working for you at a very young age. All of a sudden, when they become 23, and you're 16 right now, you're doing that for your mom now, paying for half your boots now, no matter if the children's or not. You will be paying for a lot more when you're 23. And you won't want a cent from your mom because you'll have your own money out of university, and you'll have your job and your degree. Girl, you'll be doing it. Okay, here is one of my favorite ones. Drive out the mocker, and out goes strife. Quarrels and insults are ended. Anyone know what a mocker is? Okay, I know you guys have heard the word mock before when people say, don't mock me.
Make fun of.
Right. Now, what's the worst thing when you're sitting in a group of people and someone says, oh, you know what, I just got a brand new car and I didn't, it's used and I still have to get fixed and everything, but I got a good deal on it. One person in the group says, oh, you're so foolish. Why would you go buy a car that you have to fix?
Yeah.
Right? That car they might put a little bit into and get it fixed up like that in a jiffy. Maybe they know how to fix cars. And then that person continues to go around the group, and every single time someone talks, that person says, oh, please, well, I know where to get cars at a better rate than that. That is the worst person. And what this Bible verse says is, you get rid of that person, and happiness will come back. Mockers, people who behave like that, should not be in the presence of anyone.
Does it just mean mocking, or does it mean criticizing?
Criticizing, because mock is more like making fun of them, bringing light to their imperfections and stuff of that nature. And somebody who is around all the time doing that is a horrible thing. And in the Bible it says, someone like that, get rid of them and all insults go. Get rid of them and happiness will be restored. So the same thing when you're around somebody that is negative. That's what a mocker really ends up to be, because they bring negativity into a room. And that's, we don't have any mockers in here, so I think that's very good. Very good.
I'm looking at the other olive that's in here, so I thought I was last time, sorry.
Oh, Angela, you're laughing. I'm joking. Okay. The sluggard says, there's a lion outside. I'll be killed in the public square. Does anyone know what a sluggard is? So a slug, think of that. A slug is
A lazy thing.
lazy, sucks the blood off others, a parasite. So a sluggard says, oh, there's a lion out there. I'll be killed. That is somebody who's lazy, so they're like, oh, I can't go out into the world and do this. I won't survive. So those are lazy people that will never ever get to a position of being able to buy half of a pair of Uggs. Right? So in the Bible it says it is important for people to build upon their talents and make money at it. So what you are good at, go out and attack the world. It doesn't matter if the world is like a lion and ready to attack you back. Somehow you will kill that lion, no matter what. Or other people will come around you and help you to attack that lion and kill it. Don't be afraid of what's out there. Don't be afraid of anything. Just go out, even if you're aware that there's something out there. Even like for your intuition, for instance. Your intuition tells you something. It's a little piece of information. Don't be afraid of it. Just say, you know what, okay, it's there. I'm going to be aware of it. And when it does happen, I'll be ready to attack it. So the sluggard should not run from the lion, but be prepared that, yes, it will be out there. Right? At the same time, a lazy person should not be afraid of the hard work that they'll have to put into getting something. Just go do it, and they will achieve something. And I'm one of those people that like to kind of enjoy life. But I'm willing to put the work there, so I believe balance is key. Sometimes I overwork as well, And, you know, then my body gets so tired at night where I feel my body just giving out, literally giving out, like it tingles and it's ready to go to sleep, and my mind is not ready, and I'm like, okay, I have to go to sleep now, because I don't want to be a sluggard and I don't want to be lazy, but at the same time there has to be a balance. We have to know when to sit back and just say, okay, you know what, I did enough, the rest is for tomorrow. But the worst thing is to oversleep, or the worst thing is to lay back too much and say, oh, I'll get that done tomorrow, because it will never get done. That means if somebody has nothing, don't take them to court. A lot of tenants, not tenants, a lot of landlords, I'm gonna pick on you now.
It's okay.
A lot of landlords, they have somebody that didn't pay them rent, and then they take that tenant to court. It doesn't make sense. If they didn't have enough money to pay for their rent, then what makes you think they're gonna be able to have enough money afterwards?
To cover court charges too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just leave it be, cut your losses, and know that the next person that comes in, first of all, God was probably replacing that person with someone better, with a better tenant, right?
Because sometimes when you get rid of the bad, better come.
That's right, exactly. And it's always the hand of God saying, okay, this person can't pay. Let them go. I have someone else that's going to come in.